Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Sir, do you know how to live without stress?
yeah, I've been trying to do that.
Then you do you know what do you mean by emotional intelligence?
Yeah, I do. I've learned a bit of that, but I'm open to learn a lot more.
Yeah, sir. Here is our speaker, Jaideep Shingari. So his pen was Kamaka Kalakar. What is So, over a decade of corporate experience as a software professional, certified trainer under National Skill Development Corporate, Ministry of Skill India, Government of India, and done his master's diploma in training and development, and also he is a freelancer. So, we are eager to learn how to list without stress and emotional intelligence. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. So for the wonderful introduction. So basically, I'll be start sharing my screen. Let me. Can you give me the sharing right to my laptop? Just a minute. So I'm just starting my sharing. Uh, yes. Can you give the sharing right to my laptop one?
You have already the right to share.
Okay. Yes. Thank you
Check.
so much.
We can see the screen. Sir.
So hi friends, welcome you all, and happy World Transformational Day. And yes, so now you can see my slide. So basically, today is that wonderful day we are all waiting for, and happy World Transformation Day. And I welcome you all to my session. And let me start. So basically, what are your feelings right now? Right? What are your prominent thoughts? What is the emotions you are going through? Are you stressed or are you relaxed? Right? So I welcome you to the emotion roller coaster ride for the next 20 minutes. And so basically, we say that humans are nothing but a bundle of emotions, right? We are nothing but bundle of emotions. So, but the important question is that can the emotions, awareness of our emotion, make us stress free? That is a very important question, and I want all you to contemplate on that. And I want basically uh, to contemplate. And I promise you that by the end of the session, which is stress-free life, the emotional intelligence way, you will get answer to that question. And I'm Jaideep Shingari. And as shared, I'm a software professional, freelance photographer, and aspiring trainer speaker. And Khamkha Kalakar is my pen name. And so let me start. So basically, what is emotional intelligence, right? So emotional intelligence is basically the dimension of intelligence which is responsible for us to be aware, right? So awareness is the key word. So we have to be aware of what is happening in our life, right? So we have to be aware what we want to achieve in our life. And so my slide is not moving forward. Yeah. So basically, see, what you want to accomplish in life. Do you want to have great personal relationship? Do you want to have great professional relationship? Do you want to have great health? Whatever the area of life you want to achieve, you have to be aware of that particular area. And whenever we are not able to accomplish something in life for various reasons, the major reason is awareness. If we are not aware of the aspect of life we want to focus on work on, we will not be able to accomplish that. So let me quickly take you through a brief history of emotional intelligence. So Mr. John Mayer and Peter Salve, they basically introduced this concept in 1990s when they introduced it as a psychological theory. So basically, Mr. John Mayer is from University of New Hampshire, and Mr. Peter Salve is from Yale University, US. And but later on, it was actually Daniel Goleman who basically popularized emotional intelligence through his word famous book, The Emotional Intelligence, right? And so that was a brief history. And let us now go a little deeper into emotional intelligence. So, so to understand that, let's study the famous four quadrant model, right? The four quadrant model. So that is basically we have four quadrants, that is self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and then relationship management. So the first quadrant is self-awareness, to know your emotion. So you have to be aware of your emotion. See, if I don't know, if I'm not aware that I'm getting stressed or I'm getting angry, then I'll not be able to manage that. I will not be able to control that. So knowing the emotions will make us understand our emotions better and then manage them better. Then the second quadrant is social awareness or others awareness. It is to know others' emotions. If I'm good in understanding my emotions, then I'll be able to better understand others' emotions. So it is that to live a life, better life, we need good relationships. And to understand and aware of others' emotions make our relationship better. So this quadrant will talk about the techniques where we can be aware for others' emotion. And then the third quadrant is the self-management, managing your emotions. So once you are aware of others' emotions and understand others' emotions, and you are also aware of your own emotions, then you are better able to manage your emotions. So this quadrant talks about that. And then finally, relationship management. So once we have all three quadrant in place, we have all those techniques. So then we'll be able to have better relationship. Will the perspective and techniques will make us live a better life, be it social, personal, professional relationship, right? So that is all about that. So, but the question we asked in the starting, that was, can the awareness of emotions lead us to be stress free? So let's now talk about stress a bit, right? So what is stress? So basically there's a full science behind stress, right? So there's a full science behind stress where it talks about fight and flight mechanism, and then cortisol, the stress hormone, how it is released when there is fight and flight mechanism, and then DHA, the anti-stress hormone. Let's not go deeper into that for the sake of time. So from a layman's perspective, what is stress? So we can understand, like, you want something to happen in a particular way, and if it does not happen the way you want it, then you feel stressed, right? So that is a basic definition of stress. So what causes the stress? What are the factors which in our life causes the stress? Like the factors like deadlines, workload, our bosses, the home minister, I mean our spouse, and sometimes children also cause us stress. And in this session, we'll be talking about combating stress, right? We can manage stress, we can reduce stress, right? So the key takeaways from that talk will be: number one, emotional hijacking, which is a self-awareness concept; number two, pain body and love body, which is a social awareness, others awareness; and finally we'll be talking about self-management techniques of use stress and integrity. So let's jump right into the first topic, that is emotional hijacking, right? So you see, we all think that we see through our eyes, but actually we see through our brain. So whatever the information is perceived by our senses, it is sent to an area in the brain called thalamus. And thalamus basically splits it into two parts and sends it to number one, amygdala, which is the emotional center of the brain, and number two, visual cortex, which is at the back end of our brain where image processing happens. And this amygdala, the emotional headquarter of brain, is like a random access memory. It has limited information, but fast processing, while the visual cortex at the back end is like a hard disk. It has huge memory, lot of information, but slow processing, right? So now let's understand emotional hijacking in little detail. And to help you understand that, let me share with you a real incident which happened with one of my friend last summer before COVID. So he and his family, they went on a vacation to a hill station, right? and they were having good time. And then they finally decided to go on trekking the next day. And the next morning, my friend was leading the way. He was little ahead in the road. So there was little dark at that time. So he saw something on the road. He saw a snake, and then he started shouting, "Oh my God, there is a snake." He started warning his family members, "Back off, be careful, there is a snake." He started running backwards. But after some distance, he had a doubt. Was that really a snake or something else? So basically, he had a stick and sneaked back to that area. And when he reached there, he realized that it was not a snake, but a rope with lot of dust on it. So basically, let's go back to the previous slide to make you understand what actually happened at that time, right? So what happened with my friend at those moments is what is called emotional hijacking, right? So to understand it better, let us take your instance. So any of you, like you consider yourself instead of your my friend. So what happened when you saw that rope, which you consider as snake at the road, that information is perceived through your eyes and it is sent to thalamus. And then thalamus sent that information to amygdala. And amygdala, being with its limited information, it quickly sends to you the signal that it may be a snake and it commands you to run because it's an emotional center. It triggers emotional decision, a quick decision, right? So then you start running back. When you had run for some time, then you had that doubt. Was that a snake? Then why that doubt then? Why that doubt? Because by that time, the information reaches the visual cortex at the back end of your brain. And because visual cortex has huge memory, lot of images, so it starts scanning that image on the road with the lot of images it has. And then there is no exact match. At that moment, you had that doubt, right? And then you go back and confirm, yes, it is not the snake, it is the rope. So I hope this example would have helped you to understand what is emotional hijacking. And emotional hijacking is basically very helpful. It can be life saving at instances. Like some of you might have heard about this famous incident which happened in US when a 22-year-old girl lifted a heavy car and saved his old father. Otherwise, he could have died. So there's a similar incident like that when a mother lifted a heavy vehicle and saved his son. So emotional hijacking can be life saving, but it can be other way around also. It can be life taking. For instance, let's look at this example. So husband and wife, they are arguing with each other, and wife says something to the husband. Husband gets angry. He pushes the wife. She fell and her head hit on something, and she is no more. She's gone. And now husband is in panic. He's mad. He's shouting, "I don't wanted to kill her. This happened in the spur of moment." So that is the exact point. So emotional hijacking happened at the spur of a moment. At that time, when that emotional center of brain called amygdala triggers us to do something. So there are thousands of prisons filled with millions of prisoners across the globe, which are filled with innocent prisoners, which were emotionally hijacked for certain moments, and then they committed that thing, and then they regret for the rest of their life. So it's very important to understand how we can handle emotional intelligence. So let us see few points which we can take care of. Number one, every one of us has gone through emotional hijacking in our life. So one point is we have to be aware. If you are aware of you are being emotionally hijacked, it will help you to come out of that. And there are basically two type of people. Some people, they are stuck up in the emotional hijacking state, and some come out of it quickly. So what is the difference? Difference is how well you manage your emotions regularly, right? If you are aware of your emotions and are able to manage regularly, then you will come out of the emotional hijacking quickly. And then the more you are self-aware, then you start operating at a higher frequency. So even if in tough situation, you are able to come out of it very easily. So that was the concept of emotional hijacking, the self-awareness quadrant. Now let's talk about the second quadrant concept of pain body and love body, which is a social awareness concept. So basically, what is love body? To understand this, let's go back to when we were born as an infant, right? Our body is made up of our muscles, bones, and all that. But at a very basic level, our body is made up of cells. And when we were born, our cells were filled with love energy. Our parents, our grandparents, and our siblings, our relatives, they all shower a lot of affection and love on us. So our body is filled with love energy, and that is our love body, right? But as we grew older, we saw our parents fighting, arguing, right? A small infant will not understand what is happening, but he will certainly attract that pain in his body, right? As the child grew further, so he saw TV, he saw movies, he saw fighting scenes, and he will attract more pain, right? So like that, he accumulates that pain body in him. So at a given point of time, one of the body is active in our body. So either pain body or a love body. And this concept was basically introduced by Eckhart Tolle in his book, New Earth, Create a Better Life. And he basically coined this term, right? So this concept of pain body and love body is very useful when it comes to parenting. I hope there will be a lot of parents watching this webinar, so it will help them in parenting and to manage their kids. So let us see a child in a pain body and how we can handle such a child, right? So
Sir,
Jaideep
you are
ji,
not.
he's throwing all the tantrums, right? So at that time, his pain body is activated. So what are the things we can do at that time, right? We will talk about 4 approaches and then see which is the best approach. Number one, what we usually do, we go and hug them and we give them what they want and what they demand. But this is not the right approach. If you give what they demand, but the pain body understand that if I get activated, then I'll get what I demand. So this is not the right approach. And what is the other thing we usually do? We go and hug them and ask them politely to behave yourself. But if you have seen in your life what happened, the child will hit you back. Why so? Because his pain body is activated, and pain body basically feeds on more pain. So this is also not the right approach. What else? The third approach can be, which is very dangerous. We can hit them. We can actually activate our own pain body. Then the situation will go out of control. So this is not at all advisable. This is really, it will make situation out of the control. So what is the best approach? Best approach is to let them alone for some time. Let them do what they do. If you have observed in your life that after some time they will come back to you and they will say like, Daddy, I'm so sorry, this happened, that happened. So why they are now behaving like that? Because over the time their love body gets activated and then they are able to understand our situation. So I will say that this concept of love body, pain body is not only helpful in parenting, but in all our interpersonal relationship, be it with our spouse, with our siblings, or for that matter, in professional situations at our workplace. Let's understand few important learnings, right? So about the love body, pain body. So be aware of your pain body and know what triggers your pain body. If you understand over the time that what triggers your pain body, then you can be better able to manage it. And other is pain body feeds on more pain. So we should always ignore pain body. And then when triggered, when our pain body is triggered, we always have a choice whether to get it activated or not, right? And finally, understanding the pain body basically dissolves the pain within you. So this is very important. And finally, understanding the pain body basically dissolves the pain within you,
We are
which
not
is,
able to hear you, Jaideep.
yes,
Not
sir,
able to hear.
you're not able to hear.
we can
Let
now.
me
Please
check
go ahead.
the
Yeah.
volume. Now it's better.
Yes.
Please unmute yourself.
Go ahead, Jaideep. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
So sorry for that interruption. So basically, we will talk about the third quadrant.
Now again.
Sir, don't go back. If you go back, we cannot hear you, sir.
Yeah, please come in the front and speak, Jaideep.
Okay. So basically, I'll take care of that. So basically,
The front. Please
to
come
understand
forward and
can't
speak.
get away from our stress, the kind of modern lifestyle we have, the kind of work culture we have these days. We can't get away with stress, but yes, we can manage that. So one of the techniques for that is yoga and meditation. So already a lot of literature and a lot of courses, videos are available on this topic. I'll not go deep in this topic. And even in our health session for last 2 days, we have few talks about this topic. I'll just add one point that basically this uh, techniques, these activities, yoga, meditation, they release positive hormones in our body, which makes us relax and we are able to be stress free. And this is the lifestyle change which can help us to be stress free. But there are certain behavioral changes which will help us to be stress free. So that is what is we say integrity, right? So what is integrity? Integrity is basically I'm not able to share. Yes, so it is coming now. So what is integrity? Integrity is what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. If they are aligned, then what we say we are at integrity. And but if we are not aligning these four, then we will be stressful. Just think, if you are thinking something and you have to say the opposite, you will feel stressed. And if you feel something and you have to do the exact opposite, then you will again feel stressed. So to be happy and to celebrate every day of your life, you have to align these four. First, you have to align for yourself and then for your family members. And the last techniques of stress management we'll talk about is use stress, right? So let us consider this. So what do you think when Sachin Tendulkar goes out to bat? Do you think he feels stressed? And for that matter, great Sunil Gavaskar or Virat Kohli, do they feel stressed? No, they don't feel stress, but they feel eustress. Now, what is this eustress? There are basically two types of stress. Number one is bad stress, which is the distress, and number two is eustress, which is good stress. So, certain amount of stress is important in our life to be stress free, and eustress is that stress which helps us to perform at our peak, right? So, to understand it better, let us understand stress curve. So, what is this stress curve? If you see on the y-axis we have performance, on x-axis we have stress level. So if you look at this green section, so here the stress is too little and we are basically inactive and laid back. But our goal is to reach this yellow section of optimum stress. And why this is optimum? Because if you see at the top, at that level of stress, our performance is at peaks. But after that, as the stress increases, our performance declines. We feel exhausted, we feel anxiety, and when there is too much of a stress, then finally we feel anger and finally breakdown. So what we need to do? So we need to be in optimum stress zone, which is eustress. For that, we need to do certain activities. We can go to movie, we can go to spa, or whatever activity suits you, right? So let me conclude finally, and I would like you to remember one concept from my slide, and that concept will be in this slide, right, from my talk. So let me do you the guesswork. So this is a famous quote by a French philosopher, and he said that the greatest things in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. Yes, how to belong to oneself. I suppose you can think of the concept I want you to remember, which is like alluding to this quote. And let me share that. So I'm talking about the self-awareness, the awareness of our emotions, which is core of emotional intelligence and which is key to stress-free life.
Sir,
Because
please share
if
your
you are aware
social
of your
media
emotions,
links. Your time is up, sir.
so if you are aware of your emotions, you are able to understand others' emotions better. You are able to manage your emotions better, and you will have great relationship in life, which is key to lead a stress-free life, right? And finally, let me share a famous share by great Mirza Ghalib, which also alludes to this concept of being more self-aware, and
Jaideep sir,
which goes like,
Jaideep sir.
ताउम्र गालिब ये भूल करता रहा, ताउम्र गालिब ये भूल करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी और आईना साफ करता रहा. Right? So let me leave you with this wonderful and profound thought by great Shire. And finally, my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to World Transformational Organization and Amplify for giving me this opportunity to talk here, to share my thoughts on stress and emotional intelligence. And I hope I am able to give answer to the question that how awareness of our thoughts will lead us to be stress free. And these are my contact details, my page Khamakha Kalakar, and then my profile page and my email ID and WhatsApp number. And you can get in touch for further discussion and any queries. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, Jaideep, that was awesome session. Very energetic. I learned just A of emotional intelligence. Just A.
Thank you.
So you have given very good differences between love body and pain body, and also very good insights about integrity and stress management. Eustress, it is very new concept for me. I have learned many things in your session, Jaideep. Thank you for your knowledge sharing session.
Jaideep sir, thank you once again. Can you please
Thank you, sir.
stop sharing your slide? That will give
Yeah.
us a
Yeah.
view of
I'll just.
right. You can click on stop share.
Yes. I'm doing that.
Yeah, we'll we with this we have completed the relationship slot, and we'll just wait for Jaideep ji to give us the yes. We are back in spotlight. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Jaideep ji.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, so Satya, how was it for me? It's been adding more and more of knowledge in my brains. How about you?
Yeah, sir. Transforming is not only in one thing. Health, wealth, leadership, relationship, everything comes under transformation. So it is a very good journey. So we learned lot of things from different speakers about relationships, sir.
Absolutely, completely agree with you. So before we move on,